18th, 2026 regular meeting of the Chagrin Falls Board of Education. Ashley, will you please take the roll?
Bordner.
Here.
Hoy.
Here.
Kilby.
Here.
Miller is absent, and Sabo.
Here. All right, thank you. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very up close and personal with the flag that time.
All right, item 1.03. I move to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Is your mic on? Ashley, take a call.
Bordner.
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. Item 1.04, I move to approve the organizational meeting minutes and regular meeting minutes from 1/14/2026. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Hoy.
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
All right, superintendent's report.
Just wanted to take a minute and highlight that kindergarten registration for the 2027 school year is now open. And we are already looking forward to welcoming our newest class of Chagrin Falls students. Families can visit the Chagrin Schools website, and there's a /kindergarten for more information. And for families interested in full day kindergarten, I want to call attention to an important deadline. Students who register by March 20th are guaranteed placement in the full day program. So we encourage families to complete the process early to secure their spot. And we're proud and strong of our foundation, our team, what we provide to our students, and we look forward to partnering with these families as their children begin their journey at Chagrin Falls. So it's the exciting time.
It's a very exciting time. I know I'm biased in that I just had my little one graduate from kindergarten last year, but we're just very lucky and having our new principal there. It's a really great time in Gurnee right now. So yeah, very, very exciting. All right, do we have to take a roll on that? No.
Do not.
Okay, so treasurer's report. I know we are a little bit earlier on this
Yeah.
year, but we have our financial forecast.
Yes. And wait for Mike to get it pulled up for you. I could have done that. No. Literally hit a button.
Takes care of us.
I could have done that.
Maybe.
Mike.
While we wait, do you anticipate any influx of or change in the kindergarten registration numbers now that the state law has changed?
I don't
That's a
think
good
so.
question.
Okay.
Okay, we're up and running. So the financial forecast for the year, remember that they changed the requirements with the budget bill last year. They changed it from a 5-year forecast to a 4-year forecast is what needs to be reported to the state. However, we are still doing a 5-year forecast. We're just only reporting the 4 years to the state. They also changed the due dates. So it used to be September and May. Now it is going to be August and February. So last year, it was October, or this current year, it was October instead of August, just because it was the first year and they couldn't tell us in July. We had to do it in August. So they gave us till October. So what this is going to look like is going to be a little bit different than in the past, because in the past, you know, by November, we had some tax numbers, we had collections, we knew a little bit of what was happening that year. And then by May, all of our tax collections were done. Now in August and then in February, the timeline's moved up so far. We're really guessing on more items than what we would have in the past. So in the past, when I did my update in May, I would just kind of show you the difference. And then our taxes were the number. We knew what it was done. We were done with collection, so there was no fluctuation from the forecast to the actual. We just had better information. So we're not going to be as accurate as we have been in the past. But we're going to do our best and roll with it. So keep that in mind. Number one, keep in mind that the forecast makes a lot of assumptions about numerous variables, things that are not yet known. It can and does change as time goes by. The further out we are, the less accurate we are. The closer to the date, obviously, we're a little bit more accurate. If something big happens and changes the forecast significantly, we can always resubmit it during the year. And the forecast represents only the general fund of the district. So keep those in mind when we're talking about these numbers. Comparing October, what we reported, to February, there are people out here who actually just want the numbers in the table and they don't want the graphs. So if you actually want the numbers, here you go. What you'll see as I go through this is there's not a whole lot of difference at this point. What we estimated in October is still pretty much what we're estimating in February. We were off a little bit on some things that we've adjusted. But for the most part, very, very similar to what we expected in October. Still see that we are deficit spending, not by as much as we were expecting in October. So now I'm expecting a deficit of only 53,000 or 54,000. So that's good. I'll show you where those variations occurred. And then going forward, still looking at about, very similar deficit spending going forward for the life of the forecast. Revenue sources, this is where our money comes from. So 79% of our money comes from our local taxes. 15% comes from the state. 8 of that 15% comes from the property tax reimbursement. So the homestead rollback that people will see on their tax bills, you'll get a credit on your tax bill. For those items, the state is reimbursing us that amount. For older levies, new levies, that does not occur. But for the older levies, they are still reimbursing us that amount. So 8% of that is still determined by our taxes. The 6% here is the foundation funding, and then the 0.75 is some restricted money that is for specific items that they give to us by law. And then all of our other revenue there. This is a picture of what our revenue looks like and has looked like over the past. So the light blue is prior years, and I went back a little bit further than normal. Normally I'll show you, 2 or 3 years prior, but I thought it was important at this point because we're talking about revenue. And when I show this, it kind of looks like everything is, really flat, but I wanted to kind of show when we talked about a couple years ago when there was that big focus on growth and tax revenue growth and the inside millage and all those things, we did, really count on these little increases here, and they were happening. We don't know what's going to happen going forward, but I'm projecting pretty flat revenue. This anomaly here in 2024, if you recall, we had that large advance that we had to return back to the general fund as a result of ESSER money that we had advanced out of the general fund to cover the year ended 23. 24, we advanced it back. So that kind of artificially inflates that number a little bit. Okay, so when you see these graphs here and you see a dotted line and a solid line, dotted line is the prior forecast. So that's the October forecast. The solid line is the current. So revenue is down a little bit, mostly due to I overestimated what our interest income was going to be. So that we're moving that down closer to current. And then the way the software works is it kind of works off of prior years. And as our cash balance goes down, we do expect that revenue to continue to go down. So we expect a similar decrease in the future years of the forecast. Expenditures, this is a picture of where we spend our money. 79% is on our people. That's our salaries and benefits. 11% is purchase services. So those are, a lot of those items are things that we are required to spend money on. So our deductions from our foundation. So when we get our revenue each month from the state, they have already taken out their deductions. And so we have to then expense that. Those items, a lot of that is in this 11% here. And then 10% is the other stuff, supplies, capital, and other. So this supplies and capital, this is our supply and equipment. So this is the stuff that we buy, the things that we buy for our classrooms. It's only 5% of our budget. And then other is transfers and things like that. It's a picture of our expenditures. You can see we went down a little bit in 21 and then started to come back up. Obviously, as inflation affects us, our expenditures increase. This anomaly here is because recall last year at the end of the year, we made a very large transfer out of the general fund into PI and into capital projects. That was to move the money. We were holding it in the general fund. It was being held, however, for PI projects. We moved it out of that fund into the PI fund. So our expenditures, next year or this current year will be much lower than previous year because of those large transfers. That being said, those transfers were made for fiscal 25, fiscal 26, and part of fiscal 27's transfers. So the transfers this year will be much smaller than in the prior year because we already made this year's transfers. We made it last year. We just did it ahead of time. This is the same information, just in a different format. Again, the dotted line is the prior forecast, solid line is current forecast, and this drop is again because of those transfers that were made in 2025. Now we're going to go back down to normal expenditures in 26. This takes the revenue and the expenditure and just combines them into one, just so you can see that variance. You can see in 26, this is where we're gonna, 25 was a large variance because of that transfer. This year, we're starting to actually deficit spend. And then as that expenditure line continues to grow and the revenue line does not grow at the same pace, this difference in here is our, that's our spending deficit. So we're spending more than we're bringing in. And then anytime that happens, our cash balance goes down. We have to eat into the cash balance to cover that. Again, this is the same information. So from, here forward is what you just saw on the previous slide. This just gives you more history. So I'm taking it all the way back to 19. So you can see those expenditures going down and then back up, and then this big jump for those transfers. So this is kind of a new chart. We put this, it was in the report for October. I did not present it in the slides, but I think it gives us a nice picture of a real good visual of like our surplus or our shortfall. So 2025, there was a bigger shortfall, and that's because of the transfers again. But you can see we are still deficit spending, not by much this year, which we've established, but then it does get larger and larger, and that hole gets bigger and bigger. This is what our cash balance looks like. So from 25 to 26, our ending cash balance this year is going to be very similar to last year's because that deficit is very small. As I've stated about 25 times now, as that deficit gets larger, we eat into the cash balance and the cash balance goes down. Clearly, we cannot get down to, less than $1 million in 2030. We have to take some sort of corrective action. That is either increasing revenue, decreasing expenditures, or some combination thereof. This was in the October report as well, but I didn't present it in the slides. This is our days cash on hand. So when we get to 2030, we can't, we would have 4 days. We we can't go till July 4th and then shut our doors. So
Very tough.
some sort of corrective action needs to be in place. I believe our policy says we want 90 days at least. So
That's gonna be my question,
um,
is I know different organizations have
Yeah.
like different policies
So-
on that,
mhm.
90 is for us.
So I believe our policy states 90, so, even into 29, we're against our own policy. Again, another picture of the same information. Blue is revenue, orange is expenditures. You can see the large difference there for 25 because of those transfers, and then the expenditures steadily growing, and revenues growing slightly but not keeping up pace, and that cash balance going down. Again, for the people who want to see the numbers in a table, don't care about my graphs, here's the numbers. Again, spending deficit, 53,000, 54,000 this year. And then as that continues, it just gets larger and larger. So when I'm forecasting, I'm using what we know now and what is in place right now. Obviously, this is not going to happen in 2030. We've got to take some sort of corrective action before that. One other thing I want to point out, if you actually read the report, there's a whole page of some disclosures. This one I think is huge. If the constitutional amendment makes the ballot in November and is approved, and property taxes are completely eliminated, obviously, this looks a lot different. 80% of our revenue, as I showed you earlier, comes from those taxes. So this
With an additional
here?
8%, correct?
right plus the 8% that is comes from the state, but
But is
is determined by the property tax. Yeah. I know there's been some other districts in the news that have talked about, we're going to run out of money exactly on this date. I don't know when it's going to happen because there are a lot of variables that would need to occur. As we pulled our money out of our investments, for example, we would, see some sort of penalties. I don't know what those would be. We would, we would change our operations somehow, to get us through. But this line here, would be more like here. And by the end of 2027, we would be out of money in the general fund. Assuming no other corrective action, and assuming what we know now, and assuming no other changes in the funding structure.
And that's
So-
June 2027.
Yeah, June of 2027.
Yeah, like 14 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so if it were
Well,
approved in November, we would not then get our settlements in February of the following year, which would be 27. And so we would have enough in the bank to make it through, probably graduate our seniors, and beyond that, unless there's some other plan in place, we wouldn't have any money. So that is a huge if. So I just want to point that out because that changes my forecast significantly. Any questions? It was a lot faster than October because I didn't go through every single line. I just not much has changed at this point, from October to now. So I didn't feel it was a good use of everybody's time to go through every single line.
I really appreciate you highlighting the days cash on hand though.
Yeah.
That was real, it's my favorite slide of the deck.
Oh, great, thanks. It's one of the easiest ones to create. Okay. All right, that's it for me then.
All right. Public participation, do we have anyone signed up?
I think we're good.
No, perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to our superintendent recommendations. Get through these. Item 5.01, district policies. I move to approve the following policies be adopted and revised as presented. Do I have to go through?
You do not.
Okay, perfect. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And would you like to talk about these?
So basically, these are just the updates that we get quarterly from Neola. And so we worked to revise the policies either based on maybe new laws that have happened or outdated language, as well as we may have to adopt or add some that did not exist. So this is really housekeeping. There's not a lot of,
We have these
New
last ones
information.
too.
yeah.
I have a question about the name, image, likeness.
Okay.
So that in our policy, we don't have that the athletic director has to be notified. We only have the Ohio High School Athletic Association has to be notified. Like, so how are we thinking we're gonna know if a student?
So the policy is written based on what the requirements are for the law. So typically there would be a relationship between OHSSA and the athletic director should notification need to happen. If that makes sense, but we don't have to, we probably shouldn't list things specifically in our policy that would have him in it at this point.
Okay, yeah, no, it's it's new. So we're all gonna have to see how it.
Yeah, and if it, I mean,
Mhm.
that, just as you're well aware, when these are new adopted policies, that things can change based on what we learn, and that's why we get the updates and pieces, but these are all aligned to what the current requirements.
Yeah,
are.
it is almost word, I mean, yes, this policy as written is almost word for word. So it's just, there's gonna be some,
There's some gray area.
yeah, some great,
question.
like we'll have to see how it works out.
Exactly.
practice.
I would agree
Yeah.
with you.
So do you want to take the roll?
Absolutely. Kilby,
Yes,
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
All right, 5.02, I make a motion to approve resolution 26008, authorizing the required Ohio third grade English language arts assessment in paper format. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
This is standard practice that we've been doing, so still currently with the teachers and our principal think is best.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
yes,
5.03, resolution 26009, membership in OHSSA. I make a motion to approve resolution 26099, authorizing Chagrin Falls exempted village schools to join OHSAA for the 2026-2027 school year and meet all membership requirements, duties, and obligations. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
This is just standard as well, we approve every year.
Awesome, great.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
yes,
Sabo.
Yes. Item 5.04, resolution 26010, draft lock system. I make a motion to approve resolution 26010 to replace and rekey all locks on the 7 through 12 campus. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
This is continuation of work that we had been doing across the district to get some alignment. There was a question if this work would be ADA compliant and if that had been reviewed, and the answer is yes. We confirmed with Jim and everything that, and typically that's how the contracts are proposed, but everything is in place for what it needs to be.
It's really great in terms of safety, and I know Chris Wolfter talked about it when he was talking about the FIP. So it's a great continuation of the work. Do you want to take roll?
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes,
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 505, resolution 26011. Be it resolved that the Chagrin Falls Exempted Village School District Board of Education approves the termination of a classified employee on probationary status effective of February 18th, 2026, in accordance with section 11.1 of Article 11 of the right?
Yes, you're correct.
Quickly. OPSI Local 485 Collective Bargaining Agreement. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kilby,
yes,
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 5.06, resolution 26012, Phillips Paving. I make a motion to approve resolution 26012 to select Phillips Paving LLC as the low bidder for certain paving improvements and approve a contract as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Just on the next, I think it's the next two, just so that you understand, a lot of times when the contracts come in, it's questioned on how they may be vetted and looked through, and it really depends on what the contract is and what the components are. So a lot of times we have legal, especially with any kind of construction or piece, go through and review and make sure that everything meets our standards and are aligned. We also, just to make sure everyone's aware too, when it comes, this is kind of a ceiling piece. It's not really any big modifications like what we did at Gurney when we did that parking, but also know that all the ADA requirements in those pieces are all embedded in those contracts and resolutions.
And if they're not belt in compliance, like, is there a clause in sorry, I should have looked at this. Is there a clause in the contract that if it's not built as constructed, then they will redo it without any additional
It would
cost
be in the
to district?
specifications when we went out to bid.
Okay.
So they would have to adhere to the
requirement.
specifications.
Okay, great.
Yes. Else?
I've seen millions of dollars spent because
I can imagine.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
yes.
All right, 5.07, resolution 26013, RJ Kirkland Constructions Company, Inc. I make a motion to approve resolution 26013 to select RJ Kirkland Construction Company, Inc. as a low bidder for certain roof improvements to district buildings and approve a contract as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And the one other piece I'll just add, when we talk about the bidding process and the selection process, most always the companies that we're entering into agreements with work with public schools and public education and understand all of our restrictions, if you will, and the specifications of how things need to be. So that's also something to consider when you're looking at these.
Yeah, and for me, when I read through this, because I don't know if members of the public realize, but like they have a bond, like you said, like they have a bond, they've worked before, like it's not just that they're the low bidder, like they are a very qualified low
Oh, yeah.
bidder. It's almost like we should,
A
they're a
vetted
very,
process.
yeah, a qualified low bidder.
Lowest responsible bid is what
Exactly.
is the standard
Yes.
that we use. Anything else? Okay, Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. Item 5.08, volunteers. I make a motion to approve the following volunteers contingent upon meeting all requirements as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions? Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 5.09, resignations. I make a motion to approve the staff resignations as presented.
I still second.
Thank you.
And the next few that are on the agenda are just pretty standard.
Perfect.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 5.10, certified personnel additional hours. I make a motion to approve the following certified staff for additional hours as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions? Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Item 5.11, classified personnel contracts. I make a motion to approve the following classified staff contracts as presented, contingent upon meeting all requirements. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. Item 5 5.12 athletic supplemental co-curricular contracts. I make a motion to approve the presented athletic supplemental and service co-curricular contracts for the winter and spring season of the 2025-2026 school year, contingent upon candidate meeting all requirements. Do I have a second?
I second.
So just to explain a little bit about the graph in general and why there might be some missing names, we hold those spots in case things would be finalized before the board meeting, that we could get those on the agenda as they're printed. So in the future, I think we can take those off.
Okay.
But I think it's great to have them on there right now because it shows positions that our athletic director is still looking for to fill. And so he does a lot of, he does a lot of work, networking, posting, but also if there are people that you know that are interested, I would strongly encourage them to apply.
Perfect.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Okay, item 5.13, addendum agreement, KidsLink. I make a motion to approve the addendum to the contract with KidsLink approved at the June 11th, 2025 Chagrin Falls Board Meeting as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Maybe just one comment here. There were some questions about how do we serve students that are our students that are actually attending a different location? And so our Director of People Services, Jen Benko, and her team is very close with those schools, and they attend meetings and make sure all the supports and everything are in place. So our team is actively involved with the places like KidsLink, and so you'll see these addendums are to make sure that the students are getting supports they need.
Right.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 5.14, contract Cuyahoga Community College CCP. I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with Cuyahoga Community College for CCP for summer 2026, fall 2026, and spring 2027 as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
We approve these as they come in, so.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
All right, item 5.15, contract Parent Square. I make a motion to approve the contract with Parent Square for a K through 12 communications platform for February 23rd, 2026 through July 23rd, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So there are some questions about why are we switching platforms? The reason is because the communication platform that we currently use will no longer be available to us. And so what Mike and his communications team have been doing are piloting some different programs, soft kind of pilots to see what we like. I can vouch for Parent Square. I used it for years.
Okay.
In previous district, it's just more getting used to the app and the platform and those pieces, but it will do so many things. And it also streamlines a lot of the work that Mike and his team would do. So I'm excited to see us choose this as our platform because I think it will be a benefit. We just have to make get a little bit of adjusting to a new app, if you will.
Especially with all those calamity days.
Yeah, no, we're not having any more. No
And
more.
as long as it somehow magically doesn't send all of the important emails directly to spam or trash, that would be magical. Yes, please. Like I've done every single settings thing possible. And my 8th grade, 7th grader's like, Mom, your email's broken. I think it's me.
Good. Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. All right, 5.16, contract NOAC tours. I make a motion to approve the contract for itinerary service description and trip agreement with NOAC tours for the CFMS Washington trip, October 21st through the 23rd, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Awesome.
So No Walk Tours is a company, again, that serves public schools, especially specializes in creating trips, experiences for our students, and we've worked with them for many years. What I want you to draw attention to would be the dates. Remember that we switched to fall this year because it better aligns with the curriculum and the standards. Also know that the dates are chosen intentionally, very intentionally, because there's the least amount of conflict, especially with things like athletics and those pieces, so that our students can go and enjoy and not be worried about having especially sporting events in the fall are hard to work around. But we think these are the best dates. Our other choices would have been Halloween, which was the next week, or elections, the day after the election. So we thought this was the best, given all the
Best,
parameters.
good
They did a
weather.
great job. Yeah, I
It'll be
think
good.
they'll enjoy it.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 5.17, contract Power School. I make a motion to approve the quote with Power School for school messenger communicate subscription from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So as we transition to Parent Square has the capacity to be able to do all of our automated calling, things like all calls, daily attendance calls, and even kind of be our emergency system for notifications. However, the school messenger is what people are used to and what we know is reliable. And so right now we feel it's best to sustain this for 1 year as we transition and just learn the system instead of pulling something like this
I like that.
completely away, so that when we have a snow day on the first day of school next year,
Right.
we know the calls will look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could go really sideways really fast.
I really like that.
That Parent Square, it looked like it wasn't as, its capabilities for the emergency contacts is not as robust.
I used only Parent Square
Okay.
previously, and I thought that it was very much a streamlined process and that I could get things out on more venues faster.
Okay.
So for me, it worked, but Mike is the one that uses.
I was I actually talked about Parent Square for years.
Many times.
School district, Parent Square, so I've got to see it from that side as well as kind of vetting it with a parent group.
That's nice.
And I'm very comfortable we'll be able to do everything.
Great.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 5.18, contract Burning River MS. I motion to approve the contract with Burning River for DJ services at the CFMS dance on March 13th, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
This is just a DJ that the middle school has had tremendous success with for dances, and I think eventually it will also be doing for CFIS as well.
Awesome. I
That's
love that
next,
they
right?
have a favorite.
Yeah.
Sabo,
Yes,
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
again, a favorite. 5.19, contract Burning River sixth grade. I motion to approve the contract with Burning River for DJ services and a photo booth at the sixth grade dance on May 29th, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Seconded.
Seconded. I second the thing.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. Item 5.20, contract, Areco Gold LLC, the Mayfield Sand Ridge Club. I make a motion to approve the contract with Areco Gold LLC for an additional room at the Mayfield Sand Ridge Club for prom on May 16th, 2026 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So just to clarify on this, in May, we actually approved the standard contract and we had some addendums that were approved. All of those still apply to this piece. This is for just one additional space, so.
I love it for that space. This is good.
I also believe it's golf, not gold. Now that I'm looking
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
at the top. It's not you. I think.
Okay.
We just need to correct.
No,
it
yeah,
at the
it was
top.
on the agenda. Okay, Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 5.21, contract community education amendment 1 to vendor services contract, the Night School America LLC. I make a motion to approve amendment 1 to the vendor services contract with the Night School America LLC as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Item 5.22, contract Cintas. I make a motion to approve the rental service agreement with Cintas for clothing rental as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Just the note here would be that if you remember when we finalized our OPSI agreement, there was an allowance for clothing and some pieces, so that's why that contract is in place and updated.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Item 5.23, community education compensation. I make a motion to approve the following payments for community education programming as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
Yes. Item 5.24, contract RJ Kirkland Construction Company. I make a motion to award the contract for the 2026 roofing program to RJ Kirkland Construction Company, Inc. for the total base bid as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner.
Yes.
Item 5.25, contract Phillips Paving LLC. I make a motion to award the contract for the 2026 paving program to Phillips Paving LLC for the total amount of $167,350 base bid plus alternative C1 as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Again, both of these were accounted for in the improvement,
Yeah.
facilities improvement,
Mhm.
that Mr. Walter presented.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes.
Did I do it?
I think you did it.
Then and now.
I did it. Awesome. All right. Treasurer's recommendations.
All right, 6.01 is then and nows. Quite a few here. Some of these we were waiting on for a while. Again, these are just items where the purchase order was done after the invoice or was dated after the invoice. A lot of times it's because we had maybe an incorrect amount on the purchase order and had to redo it, incorrect vendor, or sometimes things just slip through the cracks. So I'm recommending your approval.
So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes.
Kilby.
Yes.
Okay, 6.02 is the monthly financial reports. I'm not gonna go through every single one. I do want to touch on the financial focus though. Because thank you, Mike. Or the financial spotlight, I guess is what we call it. This is the use of our 25-26 federal funds. It's required that we report this. This will be posted on the website. Obviously, this is for the December report. We were spending money before that clearly, but we have to wait until the the prior year is closed out, and then there's carryover amount that goes into our this year's funds for this year's grants. Last year was extended the end of the year. So typically we have through September to spend. We had through December this year to spend. So our carryover came in a little bit later. So this is where we're going to be spending where we are currently spending our federal funds this year. 38,933.28. That is instructional salaries in Title I. Title I, we also have a little bit of money in instructional supplies, $393.27. Title II, which is supporting effective instruction, we put all of that money in professional development coaching. It's $30,719.46. Title IV, which is student support and academic enrichment, $1,370.24 in instructional supplies, $2,000 in professional development purchase services. So, seminars, education for our teachers, their travel expenditures when they go to these things, that type of thing. And then $8,000 in support services, purchase services. IDEA B, which is special education. Most of that money goes to instructional salaries for instructional aides. $309,751.07 is for instructional salaries. We put $10,000 in instructional supplies, so things that they can use in the special ed classrooms. $11,000 for instructional equipment, so we buy a lot of adaptive equipment, things like that. And then $8,500 in professional development purchase services and $500 in professional development supplies. And then IDEA ECE, that's early childhood education. $4,695.73 in instructional supplies and $3,000 in instructional equipment. Again, adaptive type things. For a total allocation for Chagrin of $428,863.05. We also are responsible for St. Joan of Arc's allocation for their federal grants. And their allocations are there on that second from the bottom line there. For a total that is in our system, $461,062.75. So I will post this on the website if anybody's interested. Again, this is just the budget. So we're not going to spend exactly $2,000 necessarily. We might, but it may be, 1,800 and something. But this is the budget where we have it allocated right now. So that's all I have for that one.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Sure.
I noticed that right now we don't have anything allocated in Title III.
So
Does that
this is,
change per year depending on our population?
yeah, so the Title III, because we get less than $10,000, goes through a consortium. So it doesn't come through the CCIP. So it's listed on our allocations in CCIP, but it shows 0. We actually get a small amount. It's just not on here. And it goes through the Cuyahoga ESC.
Okay.
And we spend it and then we request reimbursement through the ESC.
Understood.
It's just not through the CCIP.
And then, second question, in the IDEA for early childhood, so whereas IDEA B, the instructional salaries is, it has it budgeted there. I know we have early childhood teachers that are salaried, so where their funding comes from somewhere else is.
Yeah, and this is this is just a small portion of what we actually spend. The rest of it comes out of the general fund.
Oh, because this is
It's
just
just-
federal. So
yeah.
we just don't allocate federal funds to
Yeah.
our.
It's just the early childhood, we
special ed.
get less than $8,000. So to try to put it to salary would be silly because there's nobody, who makes
Understood, yes.
8,000 or less.
Sure. Right,
So,
okay. Thank you.
and I should have gotten the motion in second before I had that discussion, but I'm recommending your approval.
So
Somebody-
And I
thank you.
second it.
Okay, Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy,
Yes,
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo.
yes.
Okay, 6.03 is the financial forecast, which I went through at the top of the meeting. I'm recommending your approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments now that you've had time to think about it? Okay, Hoy,
yes.
Kilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
my portion.
Any other business? Okay, any other public participation? No.
Sorry,
Perfect.
paying attention.
Okay, our next meeting, regular board meeting is gonna be, February 21st, 2026, 8 AM, Sam's Community Room. We are gonna go into executive session. Laura, can you go ahead
Yes.
and?
I move to enter into executive session in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22 for the sole purpose of the consideration of the following matters. To consider one or more as applicable of the checkmarked items with respect to a public employee or official, employment and compensation of a public employee or official. And also Section D, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Hilby,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Bordner,
Yes.
Hoy.
Yes. And no further action will be taken after, we didn't say that part.
Correct.
Perfect.
No action will be taken after.
Executive session.
Thank you. We alternate our words, maybe we'll get the whole sentence out.
Oh, yes.
Someone will do that.
Went to the conference room.
Better allocated personnel.